If it's Friday night, you know what that means. It's time for the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. Hello, everybody. It's good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Floyo, Michael Bullock, and Dee Dee Woodson. We got ourselves a very special show here tonight. We are. It's going down, y'all. The Go Home Show does Smackdown Live. That leads us to the Royal Rumble that's going down this Sunday night live on pay-per-view on the WWE Network and on basically all pay-per-view providers around the world. This is it, guys. The road to WrestleMania begins on Sunday with the Royal Rumble. So, with that said, we jump right in to the first thing that we do as always, which is Smackdown Live. We started it off with a promo segment, but with Daniel Bryan, and was interrupted, I believe, by let me see. Did AJ interrupt him?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, he did. So, wait a minute. AJ Styles? What the hell? AJ.
Monday Night Raw has invaded SmackDown, MF.
What the hell? Okay, I guess it's the Rumble, so I'll allow it this one time. There should be no Raw people coming into our house. What is this?
I can say the same for SmackDown, but that's another story.
Yeah. Yeah, another story. Bring Asuka and Charlotte to SmackDown. Put the WWE Women Tag Titles on the line. Then we'll see what happens.
We did.
But anyway,
we did on Christmas, and how did that work out for you?
Yeah. Lucky. That's all I say. It's luck. Anyway, so.
All right, you two, time out.
All right, okay. I'll take a breather. It's better if it's coming from you, Bullock, because if Mama shows up, we're both done for. We both get killed. But good start to the show. Nice surprise to see AJ Styles. And look, this is all about the Royal Rumble, guys. This is what it's all about. The golden ticket to the main event of WrestleMania is on the line for the winner of the Rumble. And obviously, putting Daniel Bryan out there, this definitely makes a lot of people think that Daniel could be one of the favorites. I know there's a lot of people in the water cooler that's saying that they believe Daniel will be the one to win the Royal Rumble. If it comes to the SmackDown guys, Daniel is definitely out there. Nakamura his stock has risen in the last few weeks. That even I'm going. Well, no, I won't put my finger on the prediction yet. We'll do that later. But definitely looking good for a number of people heading into this. Anthony Florio, what a surprise. AJ Styles, like you said, a Raw guy invades SmackDown. So, it's yours.
Well, I'll tell you, MF. First off, before we get started, that's just MF and I having a little gorilla and chessy fun. That's what we were doing here. But nonetheless, yeah. Imagine if this is how it was today with Gorilla rooting for SmackDown and Jesse rooting for SmackDown. Gorilla rooting for SmackDown and Jesse rooting for Raw. That'd be pretty cool. But that's only going to be a dream. But anyways, getting onto this, there's a reasoning behind this, folks. It wasn't really because of the Royal Rumble. It was because of the quarterly brand-to-brand invitational. And I'm going to have a little choice word about that in a minute. Daniel Bryan is one of the best in the world, but his promos each week are growing a little tiring. He continues to play the hype man for the Royal Rumble, spending too much time explaining how the match works. It'll be best for him to get past the Royal Rumble. The quarterly brand-to-brand invitational is a silly technicality that WWE likes to pull out at random times. However, bringing the Phenomenal One to SmackDown just before Royal Rumble was a smart way to hype the event. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan is a guaranteed fantastic clash of top talent. Both men have been considered the best wrestler in the world, and each time they step into the ring, they steal the show. Or did they? Wink, wink. So, but other than those little nitpicks, I mean, this was still a great segment, though. I could probably say maybe this was the segment of the night, really. So, not much more to say. And by the way, no, I'll save it for the men's Royal Rumble preview. I sent it to you guys in the messenger anyway. You know where I'm going with it. So that's all I can say on this. Great way to start. So Phenom, Michael Bullock, come on in, fresh off another one of our legendary SmackDown chats as always. And I can't think of a better way to start a show than with the Yes Man and the Phenomenal One exchanging verbs.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely a good way to start it off. I mean, I do agree with you with some of those nitpicks that you talked about there, Florio. But other than that, I mean, this was definitely a good way to start it off. I mean, I love the exchange with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, basically talking about, of course, the upcoming men's Royal Rumble match. So, and of course, they'll be facing each other later on tonight. So, of course, there is nothing more for me to add to it. So, TD Whitson, it's yours.
Yeah, this was a great segment to start off with, and you know, I'm not surprised that Raw invaded SmackDown. You know, yeah, like Florio said, you know, they have this annual or quarterly thing where they have to go to one of the shows, and so that tonight apparently was the night it was chosen for this quarter, which was, you know, made sense with it being a hype up for the Royal Rumble. I mean, this was the last show before the Rumble because this is the go home show for SmackDown, so it made sense. So yeah, you know, good segment to start with. So I'm not going to add too much more. It's yours, Fletch.
First fight of the night officially. Bianca Belair goes one-on-one with Bayley. Bianca Belair wins the match in 11 minutes and 7 seconds. Anthony, the EST of WWE, is gaining a lot of momentum, and many people considered her one of the favorites to win the Royal Rumble on the women's side on Sunday night. What's your thoughts on the match?
Well, as far as what you just said about one of the favorites, well, I'll let this small little cat out of the bag here. According to that little dirt sheet I sent you guys a little while ago, if you didn't read it already, Bianca Belair is currently, as of right now, the betting line favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble match, and rightfully so. And we'll address that more in a little bit. But as far as the match is concerned, I could go as far as to call this the fight of the night. I mean, this was 3.25 to 3.5 stars. Bayley has been the perfect challenger to introduce Belair to the SmackDown audience. Each segment shows more and more why the EST is not just the future of WWE, but good enough to challenge the absolute best already. This match was no different. While Belair can just rely on her athletic prowess to shine, she has a complete game in the ring, switching her style to tell a complete story. She just needs time. She and Bayley got it in a really good opening contest. This was completely different from their first bout. The main mistake WWE made here was the post-match interview. Belair can cut a promo, but she was exhausted after a long fight. She should not have had to put words together when her actions spoke for themselves. But other than that, fight of the night for me. 3.25 to 3.5 stars. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, the EST rolling towards the Rumble.
Yes, she is definitely rolling towards the Royal Rumble on the women's side. So 3.25, 3.5. I do agree. I mean, yeah, nice little momentum building victory for her. And yeah, I mean, she's definitely the odds-on favorite, but there is one little. I mean, there are some wild cards, and one of them I know Anthony Florio's gonna love here, Alexa Bliss, because I'll tell you this: if she goes into that fiend mode, I don't care who you are, you can't stop her because look at. I mean,
No.
did
If
she tried?
if
She
she
tried
goes
everything.
if she goes fiend mode, Alexa Bliss wins the Royal Rumble.
Wow, I can't believe you just said that,
I'm
Fletch.
calling it. No, you're absolutely right. If Alexa Bliss goes straight fiend mode, she wins the Royal Rumble. She becomes indestructible. Nobody stops her.
Yeah, not even the ESP can stop her.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah. So I agree with you, Fletch. If she goes into fiend mode, game over. He's winning this Royal Rumble match. So we'll wait and see. So there's nothing more to say. 3.25, 3.5. Edie, what's in it's yours?
I could go 3.5 on it. I mean, this was a great opener, better than last week when they had the obstacle course BS. But yeah, this was definitely a very well done match, and you know, Belair came out shining in the end. So yeah, I'm not gonna add much more. It's your Sledge.
Yeah, this was 3.5 stars, and you're absolutely right, guys. This was really good. This was really solid for Bianca Belair. Okay, I got a weird feeling because tomorrow night there's a lot that's happening on WWE backstage. First we're gonna find out who gets the number 30 in the Men's Royal Rumble. On top of that, we're going to find out who gets to start the Women's Royal Rumble. Numbers 1 and 2 will be announced. And more importantly, number 30 in the Women's will be up for grabs in a one-on-one match. Now, I'm not going to announce it yet. I'll wait till later in the show. But something tells me that Bianca Belair is going to get either number 1 or number 2. I really believe it. They're going to want to, because when you put the first 2 out there and you've already announced it, that means something big has to be out of this. I could see maybe Bayley and Bianca go out first, let them start the Royal Rumble, and then let them go. Which, if that happens, Bianca Belair is going to shine because now you're going to put the EST. She's going to be the Iron Woman of the match. She's going to make it, obviously, maybe to the end. Now, if she wins it, that's a whole other story where that plays out. So, we'll see. But I think Bianca Belair is going to have a monster performance in the Royal Rumble tomorrow on Sunday night, but we'll just say about that. All right, leading into the next segment, I believe this was the smack off. Yeah, this was well, they had a few things along the way. All right, no, there was a match. I'm sorry. Baron Corbin goes one-on-one with Dominic Mysterio. Corbin wins the match in 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Guys, you want to get into this, or do you just want to move on?
Move on.
Move on?
On.
Move on? All right, fair. Next up we had was, like I said, this was the segment. This was the, I guess you could say, the verbal Smackdown, the War of the Words. Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. Michael Bullock. Oh my goodness. This was good.
Oh yeah, this was freaking awesome. I mean, this was the segment of the night, hands down. I mean, the war of words between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns was definitely spot on, and there were times that they went there, and that's what made this even more good. And yeah, Kevin Owens really went off, and to the point that Roman Reigns was like, you know what, I'm done. He grabs the controller, says, good night. And yeah, it just adds to Kevin Owens' frustration. So it really adds more build to this last man standing match for the Universal Championship. And yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. This is going to be an all out brawl between these two. And so yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So Dee Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I love the line that Kevin Owens said about Heyman recycling lines. I mean, because you pretty much could sit there and agree with him, because just about everything that he has said about Brock Lesnar, and now here he's saying it all about um, Roman Reigns. So Paul needs to pick up some new lines or rewrite his script, because it's getting to be recycled and getting stale. This definitely was a very well done segment. That heat was phenomenal between these two. Definitely grabbing you to make you want to watch this match even more now that the heat is so high. Yeah, they went personal. They went there. So not much more I'm going to add. Yeah, this was definitely the segment of the night. So it's yours, Fletch.
Oh, no doubt in my mind, this is segment of the night. This is awesome. This is amazing. This is what you want to see. This is the moment that everybody wanted it to witness. And yeah, this is awesome. I don't think there's anything bad, to say the very least. I really enjoyed it. And when you get the war of the words like that, it's so good. So yeah, this definitely piqued my interest. Um, there's been a lot of good moments, bad moments, but I gotta say it, man. When it comes to this, heading into Royal Rumble, they've done such a damn good job with it, and I'm thoroughly impressed with WWE and what they've done up to this point. So, um, for all the heat, for all the negativity that they gotten, when it comes to this rivalry between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, they've been nailing this to the very end. So, well done, Anthony. I agree. Segment of the night, it's yours.
Yeah, slight correction. That first segment was the second best segment of the night. This was the segment of the night here. I have to correct you on a couple of things when it comes to that backstage special tomorrow night. They have modified it. They're going to announce who will be numbers 1 and 2 in the men's Royal Rumble match, and then that women's match for the number 30 spot. So let's.
Oh, so they actually reversed it. They went in reverse order.
Yes, they did.
Because for the last couple of days they were saying that they were going to announce the 1 and 2 for the women and number 30 for the men.
Nope, not anymore.
That's interesting.
They switched it up as of tonight. Tonight, they made this announcement, and we're gonna find out we're gonna find out who drew number 1 and number 2 in the men's Royal Rumble match, and then that exclusive women's match, which will go down on that backstage special to determine who will be number 30 in the women's match. I got a little bit of some choice words about that. Not serious, but a little bit. So, but I'll save that for when we get to the men's Rumble preview. But as of right now, this was the segment of the night. I mean, WWE hyped up KO and Roman's interview as the biggest moment of the night, and it absolutely was. Reigns found a way under Owens' skin and exploited it. However, at the same time, KO clearly frustrated his rival by never losing his confidence. The head of the table promotes himself as a family man, while KO prides himself as the ultimate family man. This interview clearly defined the dynamic between these two that has made this story so special. Without being able to defeat Reigns, KO has just made the WWE Universal Champion better. This match could be the best on the whole card. Even if it is not, these two men will tell a special story together, as they have all along the way to get to Royal Rumble. So this was the segment of the night, no doubt about it. So We'll have more on this a little later on, so nothing more to say. MF, let's continue on.
All right. Batten down the hatches, folks. Because of the fact of what happens next. It was the match Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. The match gets thrown out in 12 minutes and 37 seconds. Should we talk about this, or should I just hold, because there's a lot that broke down here. Because after that match was over, it led to a 6-man match, a 6-man tag. That match gets thrown out, and it goes even further and led into what was a 5-on-4 handicap. And then we had our actual result at the end. So what happened was Sami Zayn got involved, got the match thrown out. Cesaro was at ringside. That prompted Big E and Shinsuke Nakamura to come out. So they were like, all right, let's do a 6-man tag. Then that got thrown out when The Miz and Morrison got in. They attack. They jump Nakamura. And Otis comes out. So that leads to a 5-on-4 handicap match. So the first match took 12 minutes and 37 seconds. The 6-man tag took 9 minutes and 27 seconds. The final fall, the 5-on-4 handicap, which the face teams won, by the way, that was Big E, Shinsuke Nakamura, Otis, Sheamus, and Daniel Bryan, and they won that match in 4 minutes and 55 seconds. After that ended, a whole brawl breaks out. All hell breaks loose. But the lasting image, we got a problem. We got a huge problem. A monster among men showed up. Ay, Braun Strowman is back. Oh, no. All right, who leads off on this? It's Dee Woodson. So, Dee, I don't know how you're going to rank all this stuff. I know it was pure chaos. And I know for a couple of people, especially somebody that I know who's in the room right now, he was hopping mad at one of the matches. But unfortunately, you get to lead off first. So that said person is gonna have to cool off for a little bit. Stay in your corner.
Yeah, stay in your corner. Yeah, he was talking about if they were talking about Mama coming out when the guys were razzing each other earlier. No, I'll come out if we get a little too heated on this. Yeah, so no, I got annoyed with it just because of the fact that they just kept restarting and having more interruptions. And I understand storyline wise you're doing it to build the match for Royal Rumble, but when you're sitting there and you're watching it, and this, like they said, Daniel Bryan and AJ had been in there for 30 minutes by the time this thing had ended. And, watching it restart over and over again, it gets a little annoying. You kind of get tired of seeing someone else come out and interfere. And so, yeah, I got a wee bit annoyed with that myself. But, I understand storyline wise why they did it. I'm not going to sit here and do each match separately because that would pretty much have everything being a dud because of all the interruptions in the end. Rating it as a whole segment, I'll probably give it 1.5 to 2 because of at the end you did have the big surprise of Braun Strowman coming out, and because it is very much a storyline type match / segment. But individually, no, I'm not going to rate each one individually because I would have to give all three separately a dud because that last one was just really short once you got Cesaro out there. But yeah, I mean, it was just a good way to end the show and build up the hype for the Royal Rumble. But individually, it sucked because you just kept having that restart, somebody else coming out, another restart, somebody else coming out. And yeah, after a while, it got pretty tiring. You could probably see on the faces of people in Thunderdome, some of them just look like, they were getting bored with it. So, yeah, not much more I'm going to say. It's yours, Fletch.
This was all over the place. First off, this was a lot of storylines heading into Royal Rumble. And just the Royal Rumble match itself. Now, I'll give credit where credit's due. I mean, that was an overbook mess, and I get it. I kind of felt like it should have been a lot more better. But it is what it is. Obviously, Daniel Bryan versus AJ gets an automatic NA because the fight got thrown out. It was a no contest, which I know would set everybody off because darn the heck, why would you do that to these two guys? Of all the guys you could have done an NA, why did you do it to Bryan and AJ? That was, oh man. Thank God they had the other matches just to fill it. And I know you were just trying to fill time, because you want to lay out a lot of layers heading into Rumble. But man, if you would have just give us AJ and Daniel, let them have the match, give us a winner, and then throw the chaos after, I would have been cool with that. But to have the restart, round 2, round 3, yeah, that was a little bit of overkill. And I get it. Didi, you're absolutely right. That was, it should not have gone like that. But I think WWE was just trying to fill the time and try to get as many people out there at the end of the show. Which, fine, for what it's worth. But it could have been done so much better and in so much of a different way. That's the only knock I have for the whole thing. As far as rating this, man, because 2 fights are automatic NAs, you can't rate them. If you rate it as a whole, though, man, I don't even know where to go with that because I feel like we did get a resolution finally at the end, and then you had another chaotic brawl that broke out. Then Strowman shows up. Oh God. You're all in trouble at that point. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think. Anthony, good luck trying to rate this.
No problem. I'm not going to rate it.
Okay. I had a feeling.
No way. However, what I will do is I will give a thought about each situation here. As far as Bryan and AJ goes, while the cheap ending was expected and stopped this match from becoming truly special like it was last summer, Bryan versus Styles was fantastic once again. The two had a great technical showcase in the midst of chaos at ringside, reminding everyone that they still both have plenty more great matches in store together. The two got too much time to wrestle the rest of the hour, so something was always going to happen. With the Rumble Sunday, this was the time to build up a variety of challengers. Bryan and Styles may be more likely to win than most in the match, but WWE needs to build a variety of options. The 6-man tag match was only a promise of more action and a story that feels more appropriate as the Royal Rumble Go Home Show main event. And the positive in the original six-man match was seeing more great action. Cesaro and Nakamura gave an early preview of the great match they can have together soon. Bryan and Zayn got back to basics with a fun sequence. Big E got to look like a monster with his hot tag. It was just an awkward transition to an unnecessary bigger match because Miz and Morrison had to get involved. All the wrestling here was memorable and everyone got a small chance to stand out. It just was far too much chaos to enjoy it. Braun Strowman ended the night as the big late addition to the men's Royal Rumble match, but everyone knew he would be in the contest without an official word. While the Monster Among Men should be seen as a favorite, this moment may have built him up too strong to actually pull it out. So I'm not rating any of the stuff there. Those are just my 2 cents about everything. So Michael Bullock, after hearing what I just said, how do you follow it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you make a good point on everything, but yeah, I'm not going to rate any of the matches. This was just an absolute mess as far as I'm concerned. I mean, first off, the last two, yeah, but the one I really got a bone to pick with WWE is with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. This match was going so good. And then you had Lame Duckman literally wreck everything up. No, I'm not gonna sit here and stand for this. These two are so good. You've seen some of the matches in the past. If they had just let them go at it, have a decisive winner, and then you have all this, then I would have been totally fine. But this, no, absolutely not. So nothing more to say. I'm just going to give it to you, Fletch.
As far as it being a go-home show for Royal Rumble, this was solid. It wasn't the best, I'll openly admit it, but it was a lot better than Monday Night Raw's go-home. It was a lot better than Raw's. I thought they were very good with the story. I thought they did good with some of the matches going in, and getting into Rumble, they got me interested. Roman and Owens right now is the best thing on SmackDown, and I can't wait for that match on Sunday night. That match will be unbelievable. Seeing Bianca do what she just did tonight gives her a lot of momentum heading into the Royal Rumble match. You gotta also keep a close eye on Bayley. You could tell Bayley would definitely be a threat. She's the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion in the history of the company at 580 days. So you know that her reign or her spot on the Rumble stage will be very good. Over on the men's side, Daniel, Nakamura, Big E. You saw Miz and Morrison. You saw AJ Styles. All these guys are going to be prevalent. They're all going to have moments in the Royal Rumble. Who's going to be the one to rise and win it all? That's the $1 million question. There's a lot of people that legitimately has a shot at winning the men's Royal Rumble. I could say this is maybe a good 5, maybe 6 names that's off the top of my head that I could say that could win this Royal Rumble right now. And some of them, at least 3 or 4 of them, were in this match tonight, in that main event. So, we'll see how this plays out. This was, to me, I think 6.5 out of 10. Anthony, your thoughts?
Compared to the rare dumpster fire you guys had a week ago, this was far better. But I will say this though, I agree with MF's rating, 6.5. This was not a great show. The back 40 or so minutes spent trying to build the men's Rumble match felt uninspired, lazy, and cliche. However, Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens were great, but their time on the show was relatively limited. I was pleased with Bayley and Bianca Belair's match and Belair's post-match promo, and I'm optimistic about her outing in the Rumble match, despite being quite disappointed with how that one has been built going into the weekend. Like this week's Raw, SmackDown felt short of putting an exciting stamp on the go-home edition of TV before one of the biggest events of the year. Even still, I think there is a sufficient amount of intrigue surrounding the outcome of the men's Rumble match, and it certainly feels like there are more potential winners than usual. I am very much looking forward to the show this weekend, even if this week's TVs didn't do much to inspire confidence or add any intrigue. But I will give this about 6 to 6.5. I agree with MF's rating. So definitely better than the rare dumpster fire they had a week ago. So, and definitely better than Raw as well. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts? 6, 6.5 for me.
Yeah, I agree. 6 to 6.5. I mean, it was definitely a lot better than that dumpster fire of a show they had last week. So, yeah, there's really nothing more I'm going to add to it. I'm just going to give it to Dee Dee Woodson.
Yeah, it was 6.5. The main thing for rating this show has to be the fact that they built the storylines. They did build intrigue with certain matches to get us interested in it. And yeah, it was definitely better than Monday, but not better than some of the other SmackDowns we've had. This, this was not a dumpster fire. It was solid. It was good. But, SmackDown's done better in the past. So, like I said, the only reason I rated the main event was under the fact of the storyline. Because the matches, they were duds. You can't really rate any of the 3 matches in that. But yeah, storyline wise, that's the only reason I would rate the main event. So not much more I'm going to add. Let's get on to the preview.
All right, and we will indeed. Guys, Sunday night is the big one. It's the Royal Rumble. Like we said, this will be the jump off to the road to WrestleMania. And, well, like we said, this is going to be a big fight card. This is a big event. Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. And yeah, we're going to do it. So here we go, guys. The Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumble event. We started off with we'll go from bottom to the top. There's 6 matches altogether, including 2 Royal Rumble matches. We'll get into that a little bit later. That will be our main event. First, the SmackDown Women's title on the line. Sasha Banks versus Carmella. For the last couple of months, Sasha's been the one who's been dominating the game, looking amazing, heading into Rumble and everything else. Ever since winning the title, they finally given her a legit run and a major push with the title. And Carmella's been the biggest challenger to date for Sasha. She's been dealing with Reginald, dealing with Carmella, and for the most part, Sasha's come out on top. I don't believe that's going to change anytime soon. Sasha Banks successfully defends the title, and she'll start her road to WrestleMania on a plus with the boss keeping the SmackDown Women's title. Anthony, it's yours.
Agreed. News to me, but then again, I just found it here in my sheet here, so I don't have a formal preview of this, but I will give a small thought. It's got to be Sasha. I mean, MF nailed everything. I mean, when she won the SmackDown Women's title at Hell in a Cell, we were thinking, okay, she won the title. That's great, wonderful. but can she hang on to it for a good amount of time? Because her title reigns in the past have been, cup of coffee reigns. No, she's feasting on this title reign. She's been champion for over 3 months now, which is fantastic. And honestly, I see the boss holding this thing until WrestleMania. I really do. I think she's going to go into WrestleMania 37 as the SmackDown Women's Champion, and I think this might be the blow off for this feud. So there's only one way for it to end. Carmella's going to pull out all the stops. She's going to have that sommelier or whatever that guy is. But at the end of the day,
Reginald, Florio, Reginald, come on.
I know the name. I'm just being smart. I know his name, but I just didn't want to use it. But anyways, winner and still the SmackDown Women's Champion, the boss, the legit boss, Sasha Banks. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, is it going to continue to be boss time on Sunday night?
Yeah, damn right. It's still going to be boss time at the Royal Rumble. Yeah, Sasha Banks is going to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. I mean, there's no way you're having her drop the belt to Carmella, especially with WrestleMania on the horizon. So, yeah, Sasha Banks wins, retains the title, and she begins her road to WrestleMania as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Dee Woodson, it is yours.
I totally agree. So let's move on.
Next up, guys, we got is the WWE Women's Tag Team titles on the line. The champions, Asuka and Charlotte Flair, putting the titles on the line against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. This is an all Monday Night Raw affair. Yep. Only fitting to start it off with Anthony Florio. So, Florio, it's yours.
All right. I'm mixed on this. First off, last month, TLC, we all remember Asuka and Charlotte won the titles. And it was fun to see that. It was pretty cool. From a wrestling fan standpoint. But on the other side of the coin, as the professional here, I thought it was kind of ridiculous to put the titles on Asuka and Flair in the first place. And given that each are embroiled in separate single storylines, it makes even less sense to keep the straps on them. Baszler and Jax were operating perfectly fine as champions and had a nice storyline setup with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. With the Muscle Friends now healthy and back in action, it would be hysterical, albeit depressing, for WWE to flip the titles back to the heels. But I think that's exactly what they're going to wind up doing, completely eliminating any value from the champion's current title run. And plus, let's not forget, Charlotte Flair has had some issues with Lacey Evans and her father. Her father, as you know, turned his back on his daughter and went with Lacey Evans. And I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up playing a factor in this. And it's been long rumored that the plan for WrestleMania on the Raw side would be for, even though we've seen it before, we'll see it again with Charlotte Flair and Asuka eventually feuding for the Raw Women's Championship. But then again, maybe that may not happen. Card subject to change. We've heard this before, but I got this feeling we might see new champions here. I think the first chink in the armor might happen here. But if Asuka and Charlotte were to retain, I would not at all be surprised. I wouldn't, but I think if you want to start building that feud, you got to get the belts off them soon. I can't think of a better time to do it than here. So if I'm wrong on this, I'm wrong on this, whatever. But winners, and once again, the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. That's all I can say. So TV quality match at best, I think. So Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a TV quality match at best. Yeah, this is tough. I mean, we're seeing the implosion with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, but Florio makes a good point with if they want to do Charlotte and Asuka at Mania, especially with the Raw Women's title. So, man, this is a tough one for me to call. So, you know what? I'm going to have to disagree with Florio, and I'm going to go with Charlotte and Asuka to retain the titles. But like Florio said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So, Dee Woodson, it is yours.
Yeah, this is definitely a toss-up. Yeah, Jax and Baszler have been imploding a little bit, but at the same time, they're still kind of working as a tag team. There is a lot of heat going on with both Asuka and Charlotte, with stuff on the outside going on. So really, this could go either way. I'm not going to be surprised either way. Um, I'm almost thinking that Baszler and Jax will win it, but by DQ, which means Asuka and Charlotte would keep the titles. But I'm not. I wouldn't see why they would want to, have them lose completely, as in, a pinfall type lose. So I'm gonna go that route, saying that that they'll win by a DQ, but that the titles will remain with Asuka and Charlotte. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it, man. This could go either way. I don't know. This is tough. I'm gonna go with Asuka and Charlotte, but I would not be surprised if we see a crowning of a new champions. No doubt about it. There's really nothing more to add here, so we're just gonna move right on along here. And next up, well, it's one of the big matches. The WWE Championship on the line. The champion, the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre, goes one-on-one with Goldberg. Michael Bullock, who's walking out the WWE champion?
Well, for me, I think this is an easy one. I'm going to go with the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre, to retain the title, because to me, I understand why you want to, have Goldberg in this match, because he never has held the WWE Championship, but I just don't see how they can put the title on Goldberg. I just don't. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre to retain his title. So, Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I'd like to see Drew retain it. I mean, I've heard a lot of rumors that Goldberg's going to walk away with it, and that every time he comes in as a part timer, he's the, I guess you could say, he's the new Undertaker, where he's coming in, once, twice, 3 times a year or whatever for big matches. And every time he's been in there, he has walked away with the title. But this one, I don't think he'll pull it off. I think McIntyre will retain it. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
There's a lot of rumors going around about how this is going to play out. Obviously, Goldberg will be involved with WrestleMania or the road to WrestleMania some way, somehow. The question is, does he take the belt off Drew McIntyre? I want to say no, and I want to say McIntyre retains. But something tells me that McMahon wants to put this belt on Goldberg. For what reason, I don't know. Because McIntyre deserves the moment. I mean, if McIntyre makes it all the way to WrestleMania as the champion, would be an incredible feat for Drew McIntyre. McIntyre had the belt, won the belt at WrestleMania, beating Brock Lesnar. And a lot of people believed that it was going to be a 1-year run. He did lose the belt briefly when Randy Orton got him, but he won the belt back right before Survivor Series. The week before Survivor Series, he got the belt back. And since then, has not dropped the belt. There's also a fear of the Money in the Bank coming in. And this would be the perfect opportunity for The Miz to swoop in and rip the belt from Drew McIntyre as well? Or do they wait and then have Miz cash in at the biggest event of them all, WrestleMania? Because I've also heard that rumor too, that Miz could cash in at WrestleMania. So there's a number of ways this can go. McIntyre retains. Goldberg wins the belt. McIntyre retains and The Miz cashes in and The Miz walks away with the title. And that could also have a major effect on Royal Rumble as well. I'm going to go with the first theory. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre successfully defends the title and wins it. Anthony, it's yours.
Oh, fans were rightly enraged when Bill Goldberg emerged on Legends Night to challenge McIntyre, particularly given the fact that the storyline to create the match did not make a shred of sense. With McIntyre out 2 weeks due to COVID-19, the temperature of fan resentment cooled down, but so did any actual interest in this match. Though Goldberg has defeated heel Kevin Owens and The Fiend Bray Wyatt for the Universal title twice, and WWE is building this championship as the lone world title Goldberg has never conquered, it would make absolutely zero sense to put him over the company's top male babyface that it has spent the last year building. This should be a short match with McIntyre overcoming an early barrage of offense from Bill Goldberg to retain the title and keep it at least until WrestleMania. So for me, winner and still the WWE champion, Drew McIntyre. Did Bullock go yet? Or
Bullock led, I believe Bullock led off. So Bullock led off.
Okay.
So now we go into the Universal title match. Last man standing, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, this is another one where I've heard a lot of rumors leading into WrestleMania on. If you go with how they've got the rumors going, Reigns will end up facing The Rock at WrestleMania, but for the title. So, as much as I want to see Kevin Owens win this and walk out with the Universal title, I have a feeling it's going to be another screw job, and Roman's going to find some way of retaining it again. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with Roman, reluctantly with Roman. So it's yours, Fletch.
This is very easy for me. Roman Reigns successfully defends the title. There's nothing for me to add. Anthony, it's yours.
Agreed. Only the fourth last man standing match in Royal Rumble history. The other three were all very good. 2007, John Cena, Umaga for the WWE Championship. Incredible. 2013, Alberto Del Rio and the Big Show for the World Heavyweight Championship. Solid, not overly spectacular. But, of course, the best last man standing match to date was the last one, and that was in 2016 when Kevin Owens challenged then Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, and they damn near stole the show in Orlando 5 years ago. This one, however, I have the feeling it's going to steal the damn show and overshadow both Royal Rumble matches combined. As fun as a swerve Kevin Owens title win would be, it just feels entirely unrealistic to expect WWE to cut off Roman Reigns' run ahead of WrestleMania. Reigns has been the best attraction in the company since returning at SummerSlam, and Owens has provided a good foil in recent months, but he's never really seemed a threat to beat Reigns for the title. A last man standing match does provide some outs to keep Owens strong, maybe some more interference from Jey Uso maybe, but he is not leaving as a two-time Universal Champion. So MF got this one right. The winner and still the Universal Champion, the head of the table, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Bullock, are we going to make this unanimous?
Yes, I am indeed going to make this unanimous. Roman Reigns, I mean, he is the best thing going right now. It's too soon to to take the title off of him. So winner and still the Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Fletch, let's move on.
It is time for the Royal Rumble. All right, if you've never seen the Royal Rumble before, and this is your first time ever, allow me to explain the rules. It will start with two individuals. There are going to be two Rumble matches, so 2 men, 2 women. Every 90 seconds thereafter, another individual will enter the Rumble according to the number they have drawn. It goes from 1 all the way up to number 30. In a Royal Rumble, it is every person for themselves, no friends, only enemies. Elimination can occur at any time when an individual is thrown over the top rope and both feet, I repeat, both feet must touch the floor. We've seen a lot of crazy moments of near escapes, skinning cats, and no, I do not mean that in literal sense because I do not want Callie and Tiger to beat my ass on that. So, all I'm just going to say is we've seen a lot of near escapes. The last person standing in the very ring will be the winner and will receive a championship match of their choosing of either Raw, Smackdown, or even, because this has happened, even NXT titles are all available at WrestleMania. Therefore, we're going to start with the Women's Royal Rumble match. Okay. Like I said earlier in the night, I believe that if you're talking about one from both sides, if you want to go with the SmackDown choice, the best person to win it is Bianca Belair. No doubt about it. No qualms, no nothing. Bianca is the odds-on favorite to win for the women. On the SmackDown side, I believe she's got a great shot of winning it. Over on the other end, if you want to pick somebody for Raw, and I've heard the rumor about Charlotte Flair. That's the one name that's been getting thrown around the longest time. But after what I've been seeing the last couple of weeks, Alexa Bliss's name has to be there at the end. And there's no doubt in my mind, if Alexa goes into the Fiend mode, she wins the Royal Rumble. There's nothing that's going to stop her from winning it. My prediction, my official prediction, the winner of the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble will be Alexa Bliss. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Wow. SmackDown guy going with a Raw guy, with a Raw girl there. All right. Anywho, 13. We as of right now, we only officially have 13 out of 30 entrants announced. Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair from Raw, Bianca Belair and Bayley from SmackDown, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Peyton Royce, Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler, all from Monday Night Raw, and Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Tamina Snuka, and Natalya from Friday Night SmackDown. Now, tomorrow night on the big backstage special on FS1, Natalya will square off with Tamina, and the winner of that match will automatically become the number 30 entrant.
I need to get into it again.
So the number 30 entrant in the Royal Rumble match will go to either Natalya or Tamina. Short prediction, I think Natty's going to get it. That's just my feeling about it. But anyways, I mean, I appreciate the fact that MF went with the Raw girl there. But I'm gonna return the favor on him. There are plenty of viable options to win this Royal Rumble match, but none that accomplish what a Belair win would. She's a big-time talent who just needs the right storyline to fully break through to being a main event player. Belair showing off her strength and athleticism again in the Rumble like she did last year, while outlasting every other woman, immediately establishes her in the title picture far better than her current awkward rivalry with Bayley. So, MF, I'm going to return the favor. This Raw guy is going to go with one of your SmackDown girls. My winner of the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble match, the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair. And I believe that she will stay in-house and she will go after the boss, Sasha Banks, for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania 37. Can you imagine those two dames throwing down in front of 25,000 at Raymond James Stadium, MF?
That would be an incredible match. And I mean, and really historic nature too, because it would be, I guess you can say, it would actually be a historic moment for both ladies to be at, a women's title match at WrestleMania, a women's main event level type match at WrestleMania too.
And from what I've heard, there have been some dirt sheets going around recently saying that WWE wants to have at least 2 main events, aka a double main event on both nights. Perhaps this is one of them.
This could be one of them, yeah.
So, wishful thinking. So with that being said, my winner of the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble match, the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair. Michael Bullock, I told you this during our SmackDown chat. You put me on the record for it, and I'm sticking with it. Bianca Belair wins the Women's Rumble. What says you?
What says me? Man, I mean, I really want to go with Bianca Belair. I really do. But I said it to you, Florio, and Fletch. You heard earlier when we reviewed SmackDown. If Alexa Bliss goes into Fiend mode, forget about it. Not even the EST or anybody, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, can stop Alexa Bliss when she's in Fiend mode. So I think we're going to see it. So to me, I'm with Fletch. The winner of the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble match, Alexa Bliss. Dee Dee Woodson, what says you? Dee Dee, are you there?
You went blank on me, so I didn't get to hear the end of it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. He actually called for Alexa Bliss to win the Rumble.
I don't know if it's on my end or what. Seems like everybody's starting to cut in and out. So, me, I can agree with what Fletch said. If it's SmackDown, it would be Belair. If it's Raw, it would be Bliss. And yeah, overall, I'd have to say Bliss because of that Fiend mode. So, not much else I'm going to add. It's yours.
All right, and now we go to the men's Royal Rumble. Anthony Florio, 30 men. Who's the last man standing? Who gets the golden ticket at WrestleMania?
Well, there's a lot to think about. But as of right now, 21 out of 30 entrants have been announced. Only 9 open spots here. Daniel Bryan on Friday Night SmackDown on Christmas night. He was the first to declare. And then we have Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Randy Orton from Monday Night Raw, Otis from SmackDown, The Miz from Raw, Jey Uso and Cesaro from SmackDown, Jeff Hardy from Raw, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Shinsuke Nakamura, Big E from SmackDown, John Morrison, Sheamus, Mustafa Ali from Monday Night Raw, Edge. He's not really aligned with either show. He's one of those Hall of Fame legend entrants. He announced, although he did announce it this past Monday night on Raw. So, and then King Corbin and the Mysterios, Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Yes, young Dominic is going to be in this Royal Rumble match. And then from there, and then finally, of course, Braun Strowman, Monday Night Raw. He announced it. Obviously, we saw what happened there. So that's 21 out of 30. So, so there's your lineup so far. I'm torn between two. Actually, three. In no particular order. Edge is one. Shinsuke Nakamura is another. And Daniel Bryan is another. Daniel Bryan is the betting line favorite, whereas Bianca Belair is the betting line favorite on the women's side. But Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair were right there with Bianca. And Daniel Bryan is the betting line favorite. Edge is right there. And even Brock Lesnar's name's being thrown around. Hopefully that's not the case. That's the last thing we need or want to see right now. But if there's one thing, now I'm going to make an argument here. If there's one thing WWE loves to do, it's give legends main spots at the biggest pay-per-view events of the year. That's why Bill Goldberg is facing Drew McIntyre. That's why Goldberg held the Universal title ahead of last year's WrestleMania. That's why The Rock's name was tied to Roman Reigns for WrestleMania before the lack of a sellout live crowd seemed to tank that. Edge was not returning to be a full-time talent, but it seemed he was ready to be in big spots throughout the year. If WWE wants to take a big swing on an underdog to face Reigns at WrestleMania, Edge would tick a lot of the boxes they're looking for. Daniel Bryan would also nicely fit the bill. There is a small itch in the back of my mind saying Edge gets the feel-good moment in the Mania slot. However, Edge announcing his return to WWE and entry into the Royal Rumble on Raw felt like a wasted surprise moment, even if that's what we got last year at this very event. But it did add a level of intrigue to the match because Edge would make a ton of sense as a Royal Rumble winner and a future McIntyre challenger. However, prior to Edge's announcement, I believed that WWE would move in its best possible booking direction, which is putting Daniel Bryan over in the match as the WrestleMania challenger of Roman Reigns. There is a ready-made storyline between Bryan and Reigns dating back to 2014, when Bryan made his long-awaited return at the Royal Rumble, or I should say in 2015, when Bryan made his long-awaited return at the Royal Rumble only to unceremoniously be eliminated as Reigns went on to win the whole thing. The fans revolted, poo-pooed all over it, and that moment was the catalyst to continued dissatisfaction with Reigns as a babyface. 6 years later, with Reigns now a heel, WWE can easily reach back and play off that storyline. We saw interactions between Bryan, Reigns, and Jey Uso a couple of months ago, and I believe those were legitimately planting the seeds for the road to WrestleMania. There are other legitimate possibilities to win this match. Like I said, Edge, Shinsuke Nakamura, even Strowman after what we saw tonight. But Bryan, to me, makes the most sense by far. He could still earn a shot at Roman through the Elimination Chamber, but why waste the perfect storyline? And they've been building it up as Daniel Bryan has never won the Royal Rumble match. And I know, MF, you sent us that dirt sheet some time ago saying that Shinsuke Nakamura is now the betting line favorite to win the Royal Rumble and, start a big push for him, which I believe he deserves. And we'll wait and see how that goes. But at the end, based on what I saw earlier with the betting line favorite being Bryan, I have to go with Daniel Bryan to win the Royal Rumble match. But if it ends up being Shinsuke or Edge, I would not at all be surprised if it was either one of them. But for me, I have to go with the odds. And I got to say, and as of right now, Bryan is that betting line favorite. So and we saw it on the Talking Smack as well. Bryan got in Paul Heyman's face and said, I'm going after Roman. I'm taking him down. There's no better way to do it than at WrestleMania. And with him, coming close to possibly the end of his career, there's no better way for him to go out than to go out as a champion. And a great way to do that would be to have him win the Rumble, and then we go from there. So the winner of the 2021 Men's Royal Rumble match, the yes man himself, Daniel Bryan. Not much more to say. Michael Bullock, if Shinsuke or Edge win, I would not at all be surprised. If it's anybody other than those three, I'll be totally shocked. But I got to go with the yes man to win it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Florio. I mean, I got to go with Daniel Bryan to win this Royal Rumble match. Yeah, I mean, with the way he's been put on SmackDown, I mean, it's almost like we think he's gonna win, but like you said, I would not be surprised if Shinsuke Nakamura wins it, or yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But I'm going with the favorite, Daniel Bryan, to win. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll go with Brian to win overall. If a Raw guy was to go for it, I'd probably have to say it would be Strowman. But no, in the end, I think it's going to be Brian, and we'll get Brian versus Reigns at WrestleMania. So it's yours, Fletch.
I am so torn. I am absolutely torn. Going into this, I was thinking Daniel Bryan. Start like at the very beginning. At the very beginning, I thought Daniel was gonna win the Royal Rumble. That was the guy who I was thinking. I was thinking this was gonna be his year. Then Nakamura was making the run. And then I started hearing people saying that, oh, Nakamura is getting the push, that they're giving him a legit opportunity. Maybe he might get to WrestleMania. That they might have him fight for the title. I don't know. You had that going on. Then you had the fact that they actually had you actually had the situation where now Edge is jumping in. So Edge is now going after the title, and he wants to fight at that he's declaring himself for WrestleMania. I mean, that could happen. Or there might be somebody else out of right field, like The Fiend. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, The Fiend's not in it officially yet. I think after what Randy Orton, RKO, and Alexa Bliss on Monday Night Raw, I think The Fiend's going to show up. And he might have a say in this. Now, yes, I've heard rumors about Brock Lesnar, and God help us all if Brock wins. And God help us all because I think Goldberg will also be in this Rumble as well. He's already made it very clear he wants another shot. That if he could get another shot to get in, and who knows how that plays out. I don't know, guys. This is without a doubt the most toughest decision. I want to go with Nakamura. That's my first pick. That was the one that I want to go with the man with the hot hand lately. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say it. I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan, but I would not be shocked if Edge wins it. I would not be shocked if Nakamura wins it. We're just going to have to wait and find out on Sunday night how this plays out. But if Nakamura wins, man, oh my God. Nakamura redeems himself. He gets another shot at a title. And you know there was already a storyline with him and Roman Reigns as well. You know, we talk about Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns having a storyline. If you remember, leading up to Rumble, before Owens, there was a storyline between Nakamura and Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. So, you got that. Maybe Cesaro? But, well, Cesaro could get involved. I don't think he's going to win, but you could say he could have a deep run in the Rumble. We'll see. Anybody could win this. Alright, guys, so we're done. We're getting on out of here. So, on Sunday night, will be the recap of the Royal Rumble, and we'll begin the road to WrestleMania right then and there. Thank you, Anthony Flair. Thank you, Michael Bullock. Thank you, Dee Woodson. As always, thank you guys. We'll see you guys on Sunday night for the recap of the Royal Rumble. Until then, so long, everybody, and have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye for now.